What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video and welcome to your stimulus check update, stimulus package, and infrastructure update for the afternoon of June 18th. Now, I want to address some things that are currently going on. Right now, we got a lot of discussions regarding stimulus checks, survival checks, child tax credit payments. We have the talks on the unemployment income tax repayments or refunds. We have the federal income tax refunds. We have all these questions regarding where's my money? That's what a lot of people are wondering. Where's my money? We have a whole host of people that have been applying for rental assistance, but yet they can't get it. The programs, these agencies are delay after delay after delay. And it's creating a huge issue and a major crisis according to many experts. Now here's what we know. Currently, there's between 80 and 100 lawmakers that are actually in favor of a fourth stimulus check. We've heard of a lot of these people. There's about, I think, 84 lawmakers as of right now have publicly come out and signed in support of additional checks. And others, I think there's about 10 to 20, there's right about 100 total that have come out and publicly stated they're in favor of additional direct payments, but they haven't supported any certain plans. But here's what we know. Representative Ilhan Omar, she is one of the progressives that is currently fighting for the $2,000 per month stimulus checks, which would be great for many people. We also know there are more reports coming out stating that lawmakers don't want to see stimulus checks anymore. They would rather see survival checks. Okay? The difference, what is the difference really? Well, essentially it's the exact same thing. But a stimulus check is simply talking about, okay, this check is supposed to stimulate the economy. But experts say right now, the economy doesn't need any more stimulus, but the American people need help surviving, which is the reason why the term survival checks keeps getting pushed out there. Now, one thing I can tell you right now is that no matter what the reason is, no matter what the name, the title of this check is, the American people, there's a large group of people that need this additional funding. So, this is something we are going to get more and more reports on simply because at this time, as unemployment is expiring, there's already 4 states that had it expire and get canceled last weekend. Okay, tomorrow, we're going to see another 8 states cancel their unemployment benefits as well. So we're going to see that there's going to be some major issues coming down the pipeline. We also know the CDC has the eviction moratorium expiring at the end of this month in just 12 days. So, one thing I can tell you is one of the reasons why Democratic lawmakers are pushing to expand the child tax credits for an additional 4 years till 2025 is because of the simple fact that right now more and more people need help. And one of the larger groups is parents and children. They're in poverty, so Congress wants to help out that group. Well, this is also why Representative Ilhan Omar is saying that she will propose a universal basic income plan during this Congress because she says it is needed. It is something that has been proven to work, that the stimulus checks were proven to work, and that the child tax credit payments are going to be proven to be extremely effective. So, what I can tell you right now, she has not stated an exact amount. She has not come out and said, I want $300 per month universal basic income, or I want $500 per month, or $1,000 per month. She's mentioned $500 because that is one of the programs that she's kind of pushing and discussing and using as more of a framework. But she hasn't really come out and said, hey, this is exactly what we need, $500 per month, $1,000 per month, per person. But once she comes out and says that, we'll get a little bit more insight as to where she plans on taking this. What I can tell you right now, the purpose of the universal basic income, and right now experts are saying that it will most likely be anywhere between $300 to $500 when it is pushed as far as a plan. However, experts say that chances are this would never go through with the 50-50 split in the Senate as it sits right now. And this is mainly because of Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. What we do know is the point of this is just to cover basic needs for the American people. But it's also being reported that as of right now, those that receive these payments would most likely be the lowest income earners. This would be people making anywhere between $15,000 and $20,000 per year. So if you'd fall within that category, make under $20,000 per year, chances are you would qualify for universal basic income. The only caveat, according to some experts, is most likely it will include that you have to have a job. That will be the one caveat. That will be the only requirement. You have to have a job and you can qualify for universal basic income. So we will see. But here's something that I thought was extremely interesting regarding the recurring $2,000 per month stimulus check plan and that $2,000 one-time payment and $1,000 recurring stimulus check plan. Here's what some are currently discussing. Some are saying right now both of these plans are in effect, or technically working and paying out as long as we are in a pandemic, as long as we're in a state of emergency. Well, reports indicate that many lawmakers are currently saying that this pandemic is essentially over. We are pretty much out of this pandemic simply because the vaccination rate is getting up there, the case counts are dropping, right? We have this under control now. We know what to expect and what to do, how to minimize the effects, how to minimize the exposure. And some say we are in the rebuilding phase in the economy as of right now. So this is most likely one of the reasons why Democratic lawmakers at this time, and essentially Ilhan Omar, are pushing and calling for survival checks, because they understand that the plans that they were pushing last year and even are starting to push it again this year, the problem is they won't work, because if we're already out of this pandemic, essentially we're just asking for one stimulus check. So why fight over the verbiage when really we don't have to, if essentially we are out of this pandemic? So we will see, but as we know more, I promise I'll fill you in on the latest news and updates. I just wanted to bring that little piece of information to you because I thought that was very interesting, and that was one of the things that was being discussed over the past few days is, can we really pass a monthly recurring stimulus check if essentially we're out of the pandemic and all the plans are pushing for $1,000 or $2,000 per month for the life of the pandemic? So again, we know it's not going to be retroactive, so let's not even get into that. But that's kind of where we're at this point. My guess, okay, just my guess, again, I'm no expert, but just my guess is I anticipate we will not see a monthly recurring stimulus check. My expectation is we will get an additional check. It will go to the lowest income earners. But again, it's all based off of what we are currently hearing, experiencing, and what lawmakers are discussing at this point. Now, even though we're about 2 weeks away from the 4th of July, this is Nancy Pelosi's somewhat self-imposed deadline. We know we're still a long ways away from reaching an agreement on infrastructure. President Biden, he is still pushing for a bipartisan infrastructure package. The Bank of America, they are saying that inflation is actually a bigger threat than COVID. And Bernie Sanders is telling Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, let's push forward with a budget reconciliation. We know many economists as of right now are worried that another large stimulus or infrastructure package would essentially hurt the economy due to inflation. However, Democrats say this is not true. Even Janet Yellen and Jerome Powell believe that fears of inflation actually won't be long term. We will see some inflation, which we're already seeing, and then it will kind of die off. That's what they are saying. However, many experts and Wall Street don't really agree with exactly what they're saying, or at least telling us. What I can tell you right now is we are about to see some real fighting going on. Democrats want big and bold legislation, and they want to see it right now. Republicans want to go very lean on infrastructure without passing any additional stimulus. It is pure infrastructure, nothing else. We know the American people just want to be taken care of, and many say that they were promised that they would be taken care of from the beginning of this pandemic, yet it just hasn't happened. The $3,200 in stimulus payments has not been enough to keep many people out of poverty, to keep many people from going into massive credit card debt just to live and survive and buy the basic needs. We know many Democrats say the only way they'll even support an additional, or not really an additional stimulus check, but the next infrastructure package, which could include additional stimulus, is if climate change is included. If it's not, they say they would not support this. It would be a very tough sell. Reports yesterday are indicating that Californians are actually experiencing a major and massive heat wave, which is causing strain to their electric grid, which is causing more and more lawmakers to come out and say, you know what, we really need this climate change, because if we don't get it, we're going to be hurting, right? This is also one of the reasons why Governor Gavin Newsom from California declared a state of emergency due to the heat as well. What I can tell you is the GOP infrastructure, which would have included a gas tax. Right now, President Biden is saying that this is not going to be included. We are not going to move forward with the gas tax. This is also what the White House stated as well, that this gas tax and all the talks on it are out of the question, which is good. So for many people, I know we've been getting a lot of questions on this, is, okay, are we going to see an infrastructure package? What's going to be included? Well, we know climate change will be included, or else it's just not going to pass. Will there be a gas tax? No, there will not be a gas tax. So we can start to kind of plan this out, put together this package, and essentially get close. The problem is many don't know how we're even going to pay for this. Right now, what I can tell you is a bipartisan infrastructure proposal is reportedly going to include a tax for electric vehicle owners. And this is going to be essentially to pay their fair share into the system and pay for the roads and bridges and everything that they drive on. But many Democrats at this time feel that taxing or asking electric vehicle owners to pay additional fees when the vehicles are already expensive enough, and on top of that, they are doing their part to help climate change. So they're saying they don't feel that there is a need to ask them for additional money as well. And this essential tax would be out of the question, just like the gas tax. So at this time, what I can tell you is that nobody has a true answer as to how to pay for this massive possible $6 trillion infrastructure package. But everybody has ideas, everybody has plans, they're pushing them forward, and hopefully we will get something very soon. Like I said, I do not anticipate that we will reach that July 4th deadline to get this deal done, or at least negotiated and in the process of moving forward. Chances are we're going to still be doing bipartisan negotiations. We will still be moving forward with the budget reconciliation, and chances are we will still be doing this all the way deep into the end of July. According to reports, they do not expect a infrastructure package to actually pass until possibly September, unless Congress decides to stay and not go on recess in August, and then they could potentially reach an agreement there. But we will see what happens. Now, lastly, we got big news out today. President Biden actually held a speech, and he talked about how his administration administered over 300 million vaccines in the first 150 days, which is more than what he wanted. He wanted 100 million in 100 days. He accomplished that. Got to 200 million. We are now at 300 million. We will see how close we get to that 70% of the United States being vaccinated by July 4th. Many expect we're going to be somewhere around that 67 to 68%, but we will see as we get a little bit closer. What I can tell you is that President Biden acknowledged that we still have a long ways to go. We're not out of the woods, and this pandemic is not yet over. One thing I just want to reiterate is right now, President Biden is having a very tough time selling his ideas for infrastructure, not to all Democrats, but to some, and to all Republicans. If he can't get 50 votes in the Senate, which as of right now, reports indicate that he does not have 50 votes, depending on the package, depending on the proposal, Biden's framework has about 47 Democrats on board. That is the best one. Okay, that is the best one at this time. The Republican framework, that has very few, maybe just a couple Democrats on board. Okay, probably none, but maybe a couple. And we also have, which is essentially, they are not even going to put that on the floor of the Senate. We also have a bipartisan infrastructure proposal that as of right now has even less support, simply because it is leaving out some major policies that Democrats want to include, and climate change is one of those. Okay, Medicare, that's another one, but essentially we're not really discussing that yet because that's part of the social infrastructure package, the American Families Plan. But we will see as we get a little bit closer. And then as far as a Democratic proposal, there's not all Democrats on board there either. That's probably closer to that 45 to maybe 47 Democrats as well. So right now there's no proposal that will pass the Senate. And in the House, right now, we honestly don't know, simply because the majority of people in the House aren't really discussing this, simply because it's all going to come down to the Senate. So as we get more information, I promise I will fill you in all the latest news and updates. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday afternoon and Friday evening. Consider subscribing so I can continue to keep you updated on everything that's going on, and I'll see you guys on the next one.